All right, let's get some disclaimers out of the way here so there's less to sort through in the comments later. Number one, this is a huge topic. It is impossible for me to spotlight every audio solution, so if your favorite product isn't mentioned in today's video. Number two, despite my love of HyperX products, they do not sponsor me. They've never sent me anything for free. They've never sent me anything on loan, nor have I ever even asked. Number three, and I cannot overstate this point, I do not identify as an audiophile. If you do, chances are this video is just gonna trigger you, so do us both a favor and bail out now. Number four, audio is highly subjective. That means your definition of better might be different than mine, so I'll do my best to be as descriptive as possible when I'm talking about sound quality and character. Number five, with all the talk about hardware today, please don't overlook the obvious. Make sure you go into your game settings and check the different audio mixes. Experiment around to find out which one sounds best for you with your setup. Now lastly, this is gonna be a two-parter video with part one talking mainly about headphones and headsets, and part two addressing mainly audio interfaces. There's simply way too much here to cover in one video. Whew, still here? All right, let's go. You're looking for cheap PC games? Check out Kingwin.net. Click the link in the description below to help support the channel and never pay full retail again. Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching Bad Seed Tech, and what's really good? So today we're talking about audio setups for your PC gaming environment. It's a really murky topic. There's a lot of different ways you can go, and if you're not careful, you're gonna overspend or underspend or double spend. There's just too many options on the plate. So we're gonna try to distill some of this down to give you guys a clear upgrade path of what you're looking for and what's going to work specifically for you. So if you try to research this topic at all on your own, you've probably seen some common points regurgitated ad nauseum in different forum posts, or perhaps even from your favorite YouTubers. So before we really get rolling, let's look at some of the common things that you've probably heard or seen over and over again. Onboard audio is trash. Heard it a million times. Onboard audio has actually come a long way, and the quality of chip you get generally depends on how much you spent on your motherboard. You may plug a decent gaming headset into your onboard and never feel the need to upgrade. The biggest issue with onboard is the mic input. It's either going to sound really hissy or it could sound really overprocessed depending on whether or not your onboard audio has noise reduction enabled. Gaming headsets are trash. Well, this is partially true. Anything under $50 I'd probably be pretty leery of, with the exception of the HyperX Stinger. HyperX really changed the game with their $100 models that sound like they cost a lot more. But keep in mind, we're talking about gaming audio here. So we're talking about a fun, punchy, bass-driven sound with an emphasis on highs so you can pick out footsteps. If you're looking for like a delicate, sterile, flat reference EQ, you're not going to find it with HyperX. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure why you'd want to play your games like that anyway, but to each their own. Nonetheless, there still exists a camp that would tell you that you have to have a separate headphone and a separate outboard mic in order to get a decent gaming experience. And it's simply not true. So don't feel like you're shorting yourself if you decide to go the gaming headset route. Headset mics are trash. Well, this is actually mostly true. I mean, usually it's going to overprocess your voice until it robs it of bass, makes it sound a little nasally. Of all the offerings that we're going to talk about today, HyperX's mic is probably the lowest man on the totem pole, and it's still pretty decent because what we're talking about here is gaming chat. I would never attempt to do like a podcast or any sort of voiceover work with a headset mic. Even the exceptional like Modmic series or the V-Moda Boom Pro. Simulated 7.1 surround audio is trash. This is actually almost always true. Simulated 7.1 means they're going to try to trick your ears into thinking you're sitting in the middle of a 7.1 Dolby surround system. In all actuality, I've never really heard this pan out very well. You'll even see headsets advertised as true 7.1 where they jam each ear cup up with like 7 different speakers and feed a different signal to each driver. It sounds great on paper, but I've tested a few of these units and I noticed no meaningful difference with like directional positioning. The only nod I'll give it is that it has a tendency to sound less tinny or weird than simulated 7.1, but in all honesty, just spend your money on a solid stereo headset. The general drawback with simulated 7.1 is that after processing, it generally leaves the audio sounding pretty tinny or unnatural, or it sounds poorly mixed. And by that I mean that certain sounds stand out oddly in the mix, while everything else just gets kind of rolled into this audio mush. I've only heard a couple examples where this is really done right. Now, you may like simulated 7.1, or you may feel like it does something special for your gameplay. That's fine. It's your money, so I'll make sure and point out the sets that support simulated 7.1 as we move through some of these offerings. Right, so in the interest of keeping things moving, part one of this video series is going to talk just about things that you plug into your audio devices. And by things you plug in, could be a gaming headset, a pair of headphones, a 2.1 system where you have 2 speakers and a sub, or a complex 5.1 or 7.1 system. If we're talking about PC gaming, these complex actual 5.1 and 7.1 surround systems are going to be far less common than like a 2.1, a headset, or a soundbar. The majority of this video is going to focus strictly on headsets because, in my opinion, it gives you a more immersive experience and it gives you a means to communicate with other players all rolled into one device. Now, I need you to keep one big thing in mind here. This video is talking about audio quality bang for buck. So if the headset that matches the brand of the rest of your peripherals isn't mentioned, or if the models I suggest don't have like a flashy paint job or aggressive gamer design or RGB, there's a reason. Most of the time you won't realize something sounds poor until you've heard something that sounds better. And I'm trying to save you from a life of mediocre gaming audio. So, onto the headsets. Now, if you're on a really tight budget, I'm talking $50 or less, there's really only one model I can recommend, and that's the HyperX Stinger. It's got great sound for the money. You are going to sacrifice some build quality, mic quality, and the mic, instead of being detachable, is going to be a permanently attached swivel mic. Now, this really isn't a budget class all its own, so this is probably the last time I'll mention the Stinger in this video, but there are plenty of reviews out there for it. The rest of the HyperX line all share very similar features, with the Stinger being the odd man out. I really recommend saving to at least $100 for your first headset because it very well may wind up being the last one you ever buy. At this option, my two favorites are the HyperX Cloud 2 and the HyperX Cloud Alpha. The Cloud 2 is a rebrand of the Takstar 80, which is kind of like a cheaper knockoff of the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro 8-ohm headset. It's got an easy-to-use USB dongle that features simulated 7.1. If you can't live without simulated surround, this would be the way to go. It's also worth noting you don't have to use it if you don't want to. It still has a standard 3.5 millimeter jack, although the cable without using the dongle is going to be pretty short. So make sure your input is located pretty close to where you're going to be using it. The Cloud 2 is a very fun sound. It's insanely comfortable, and it's an easy plug and play option to get started. I personally ran a Cloud 2 for like a year and a half, and the only reason why I even started looking at different headsets is because I dropped the interface off my desk one day and snapped the headset plug off the end of this thing. The cable's not replaceable, so I had to go shopping. It's worth noting here that this same model also comes as a model called the Cloud Core, which is $70 and does not include the USB dongle, or the Cloud Pro, which doesn't have the dongle, but it does have inline volume control for like $7 or $8 more. On top of that, HyperX also offers the USB dongle separately for like $30 if money's tight. If my budget was $50 and I was looking at the Stinger, I would beg, borrow, or steal the extra $20 to at least get into the Cloud Core. Now, if your audio device already has simulated 7.1 or you just don't care about surround sound at all, which is totally valid, my nod definitely goes to the HyperX Cloud Alpha. These things are insanely comfortable, and they have the best bass response of any gaming headset I've ever used. Matter of fact, I love to demo these for my friends that bought Beats Studios just to be a dick. These sound really close to the Cloud 2s, but there's still more detail intact when the bass hits. It doesn't muddy everything up. And the ear cups are literally the most comfortable thing I've ever put on my head. The Cloud 2s have a separate set of ear cups inside the box that are like a velour type material. Those actually will fit on these if you happen to have a pair of those lying around, or if you just like this style, because these come standard with like the fake leather. My favorite myth surrounding the Cloud Alpha is that because HyperX designed these, that they are somehow not on par with or are inferior to the Takstar rebrand. This is totally, patently false. For $100, these things sound damn good. My nod goes to the Alpha over the Cloud 2s for the comfort, the bass response, and the detachable 3.5 millimeter cable. I am surprised by how comfortable these things are literally every time I put them on my head. I own several headsets. I will never get rid of these. A side note here, the HyperX headsets are all very bass heavy. So if you don't enjoy that type of thing, I would really recommend taking a look at the Arctis 3 or the Arctis 5 offerings from SteelSeries. They offer a more flat, detailed sound if that's what you're into. And as we get up to the $150 mark, things start to get a little weird. You could go wireless here, but it comes with some sacrifices. You can check out some of the reviews I've done for some of the more popular wireless cans in the card at the top of the screen. You may have also seen the HyperX Revolver S. It brings back simulated 7.1. It's a really tough sell for me. I don't like the headband. I don't find them nearly as comfortable as the $100 offerings, and I think the Alpha sounds better flat out. Despite info online, it does feature side tones so you can hear your mic in your own cans, which is cool. And it talks about the fact that it has a wider sound stage for closed back headset, but I really didn't notice the subtlety at all. I bought these and returned them, if that tells you anything. For me, if you're going to go that high in budget, you might as well go the extra 15 or 20 bucks and move up to Sennheiser. Sennheiser just released a flagship, the GSP600, which I'll have a full review on coming pretty quick. It retails at $249. What that means for you is you can practically steal the older models right now. The Sennheiser Game Zero, like everything we've looked at so far, is a closed back headset. This originally retailed for $279, but you can score it on Amazon right now for around $160. They're closed back headsets because they seal against your head, generally offer deeper bass and better isolation from your environment at the cost of a narrower soundstage. And all soundstage means is how big or small the environment feels based on sound. But the real star of this lineup, and arguably the best sounding headset and mic combo that I've tested, goes to the Sennheiser Game One, which is open backed and can also be had on Amazon for right about $160 right now. Now, if you've never owned an open back headset before, you owe it to yourself to experience this. I had very little understanding of what people talked about when they talked about like deep immersion or a really wide soundstage until I tried these out. And open back means exactly that. They're open. So you can hear everything that's going on around you in the room, and people can hear what you're listening to. So if you live in a really noisy environment or you share a game room with somebody, it could be an issue. But these sound crazy. Like they literally defy my ability to accurately describe it. You have to hear it for yourself. Now, an open back headset is going to have less bass. Not poor bass, mind you, just less bass, especially versus the HyperX line. But the sense of immersion and the separation and detail is insane. And it only gets better when you made it to like a medium to high grade external sound card or DAC amp. Now, these are not as comfortable as the Cloud Alphas, but they're not uncomfortable by any means. The ear cups are nice and big. They go all the way around the ear, and they have a velvet ear cup versus the fake leather, which some people prefer, but it does have a tendency to gather lint. The mic is almost like comically chunky, and it doesn't detach, so you wouldn't catch me dead wearing these anywhere except my desk. That said, it is easily the best quality mic that I've heard on a gaming headset so far without moving to an external attachment. I'll include all the mic tests, etc. in the next video. These cans are based on Sennheiser's own HD 518s. It used to be when these retailed for $249, you could save a bundle by picking up the HD 518s and then adding an external mic like a Modmic. However, the HD 518s right now run you about $160, and even stepping down to a Modmic 4, it's still $55. So with the deep discounts on these headsets right now, it's still a win to get the total package. I would avoid the PC373D as it's pretty much the exact same thing as the Game One, except it adds a simulated 7.1 dongle, it forces a USB connection, and at $185 is still overpriced in my opinion. If you look around, you might be able to score a pair of PC360s, which is sort of like the precursor to the Game Ones. Those are available on Amazon right now for $116, and that is an absolute steal for those. If you want to move any further up the budget ladder, this is where you get into an area where you need a separate pair of audio headphones and an external mic, either like the Antlion Modmic or the V-Moda Boom Pro or a dedicated broadcast mic. Now here we have the Modmic 5 from Antlion Audio. The big difference between this and the V-Moda Boom Pro, which also gets pretty stellar reviews, is that the Boom Pro needs to plug into a mic input on the headset, whereas the Modmic simply it fixes with like a little sticker and a magnet, and you can put them on damn near any pair of headphones. The other big difference between the two is the price. The V-Moda Boom Pro goes for about $30. The Modmic 5 is going to set you back $70. And you could step down to the Modmic 4. It's still going to get you for about $55. The advantage here with Modmic is that this company does one thing. They pour all of their R&D into making the best damn sounding headset mic they possibly can. And they succeed. This is a great choice for when you already have a solid pair of audio headphones that you love. Maybe you've got a headset that matches your setup or has a certain audio signature that you're just a big fan of, or maybe it's physically broke in and it just fits you like a glove and you don't want to part ways with it or double spin to get another headset. This is the ideal choice for you. The pros here are pretty obvious. The only real downside is the increased measure of cable management, because now you're going to have a cable going from your microphone as well as from your headphones that you're going to have to manage. A Modmic gets knocked on this in every review I've ever seen. So with every product revision, they try to find a way to make this less of a hassle for you. But this thing sounds seriously good for a headset mic. If you get a chance to, swing by Antlion Audio's webpage, because they have a whole section dedicated to headphones from other manufacturers at a variety of different price points that they think would pair well. Now then, what do you plug these bad boys into? Well, that's going to have to wait for part 2. Before you blast me in the comments for not including mic tests, please know that those will all be in the second video. There's simply no point in doing them twice. I will include affiliate links in the description below for everything that we talked about today, and I'm really happy to announce I'm now an affiliate with Amazon UK, thanks to my boy Stinger, so you can check that out if you live in the UK as well. That's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time,